Hello, everybody, and welcome to our February 24th Business Builders Roundtable. This is Melissa Edens, and I am very excited to have you here with me. And I see a question right now, is this an app like Start Meeting? So let me answer that real quick so that way everybody knows how to get onto this. So it's not really an app so much as something that you call into. And then once you've dialed into the number, as some of you know, and those of you who don't know, I'm putting this on the recording so you know for future. It will ask you for an access code, and that is also down below in the picture. It's 442-813-511 for my calls. And then you'll push the pound key, or as my kids call it, the hashtag, and it will let you into the call. So that's how we get into the call, and sorry for all the little delays there. So that's how you get into these calls. If you are listening to the recording and you're not sure how to join these live, you're going to dial 605-562-0020. I usually put that number on the event page so that you can always access it. It's usually it's one of the first graphics or images that I put up there. And then the access code 442-813-511 pound or hashtag. So if you're looking to get on, that's how you do it, and that's how you can hear these calls live every Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. As I said, my name is Melissa, and I have been with Young Living for about 3 years now, just over, and I am almost mom to 7. I have 6 with 1 due in April, and this is just, Young Living is the wildest ride for me. I cannot even tell you how exciting this has been. I have a blast meeting people and talking to you all and learning and helping others get freedom in their health and in their finances. This has become a huge passion of mine. So that's where I'm at with Young Living. And so we are going to start off, as we usually do, with the promotions for February. And I'll go back. Sorry. At some point, Heather Esty might join us. She tries to get on to help host these because she also has just some amazing insight, and she's a blue personality and I'm a yellow personality, so we work out pretty well together. But I know that she's also taking care of some things with her mom, so she may or may not be on tonight. We'll see. So February promotions. If you spend or if you make a purchase of 190 PV, we're always talking about PV. If you don't recognize me saying that, then make sure that you go and watch a video about the compensation plan or something like that. But 190 PV, you're going to get a bottle of patchouli and a bottle of wintergreen essential oil. If you make a purchase of 250 PV this month, you're going to get those 2 oils, the patchouli and wintergreen, and you're also going to get 20 ER Essential Rewards points. And if you spend or purchase 300 PV of essential in an order this month, you are going to get patchouli, wintergreen, 20 Essential Rewards points, and the I Love Oils collection, which is a bottle of Joy, a bottle of Ylang Ylang, and a bottle of Grapefruit Vitality Oil. And here's the great thing. If you make this order as part of your Essential Rewards your Essential Rewards order, then you're also going to get the additional bottle of Copaiba. So those are just basically, by the time you're done getting to that 300 level, you are getting about $200 in free stuff this month. And that's actually been pretty common lately with Young Living. So pay attention to those promos, and if you can get them, jump on it because it's really good. Now here's the other thing to remember, ending this coming week, because this is a short month, so ending on the 29th of February, right now, 10% off of almost all the premium starter kits, all except for the raindrop diffuser. And that's the black one that looks really awesome and cool. So that is for you as wholesale members and distributors, as well as your new members. So just something to keep in mind when you're talking to people. Okay, and tonight we're going to get to our main topic. Stop talking already. Okay, this is huge for people, and we don't always even realize that we are doing this, that this is a mistake we're making, okay? And I realize it's so ironic that I'm talking about this as we're talking about not talking. Okay, so first I want to challenge you. I want you to think about your best and worst sales experiences. I mean, I know that we're not, quote unquote, in sales, but everyone has something that they're endorsing, including us, and we're endorsing our essential oils. We're endorsing a lifestyle change towards better, towards great health. We're endorsing the possibility for increase in our cash flow in the month. There's so many things that we are endorsing, which kind of puts us in sales. So try again, best and worst sales experience. Think about that for a minute. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about mine, okay? Worst experience that I had was actually pretty recently. I was on the phone with someone about some cable options. This guy talked so fast, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. I felt really rushed, really uncomfortable. He was talking so much I couldn't even ask him he was offering me like special deals to sign up with their program. I couldn't even figure out what the special deals were. I had to tell him 3 times to slow down so that I could follow what he was saying. And I think it was a cultural thing within their company, because the next person that I talked to did the same thing to me, and I told her the same thing, slow down. So, and really think about a used car, kind of a reputation they have. They talk and talk and talk just in your ear, and they don't really give you time to process what they're saying. So you feel like you've been kind of run over by a truck, right? Okay, so the best experience that I had, all right, now I just mentioned used car salesmen. The best experience that I had, I actually was doing a mystery shop a number of years ago, and pre-Young Living, and so I was going for a test drive of a brand new off-the-lot car, okay? The salesperson took his time to ask questions about my family, my job, what I like to do in my free time. Now, hopefully this is a familiar pattern to you. Hopefully this sounds familiar. It really was form, family, occupation, recreation, message in action, okay? But we aren't really here to talk about forming tonight. But instead, we're here to talk about what comes next. And this salesperson for the test drive and for the car sales, and I've seen this with a couple of new car salesmen, not used, but new. What he did next is what we're talking about. So you've formed your person. You've asked them questions about themselves. You've figured out what their goals are. You've figured out where your message can fit into what they're trying to do, and you've invited them to an event, a one-on-one, a presentation. You have them interested. They're coming to get more tips and details and information from you, right? Or from your web link, or from whatever you are using to get information. Most of us, I know, do one-on-one presentations, but not always. So how many times do we reach this point? We're super excited. We have somebody in front of us, and they're going to sign up today. So we turn around and we spend the next hour and a half throwing up every single detail we know about oils, Gary Young, Young Living. By the time we're done, the person is overwhelmed. They're backing away, and they feel like they've been hit by a Mack truck. They feel like there's, what did you say back there 25 minutes? I had a question, and I forgot it now because you were talking so much. Just like my cable guy that I was trying to get information from, right? So let's start with our presentation, which is what comes next, right? You've gotten them to that point. So let's start with our presentation. What are the most important points to cover at the very beginning of a presentation? Now, each of us is going to have to decide this for ourselves a little bit, but I really want to urge you to stick to the basics of our message with Young Living and with essential oils. Now, if you're in a face-to-face one-on-one, and Shannon Hudson has talked about this, and it really made an impression on me. She talks about doing a one-on-one with the product guide. And if you look in your product guide, whether it's the older one that is phasing out from 2015 or the brand new one from 2016, the first probably 12 pages, 12 pages, That is your 101 in a nutshell right there. It tells about seed to seal. It tells about Young Living, maybe a little bit of background and history. It tells 4 or 5 reasons why Young Living is the company you should trust as an essential oil company. It talks about the community, the farms, the history, how long we've been around. And then, it also gives 3 ways to use the oils. And then it has a little bit of advertising stuff like, our new look on the bottles and that kind of thing. And then it talks about, it gives like 200 pages or something, 100 pages, of all the different oils and blends that we have in the products, the product portion. So even there we can use that and say, okay, so we have all of these products, more products than any other company out there. So that's your 101 right there in a nutshell. But instead of sitting there and carrying on and going on and on and on and droning about what seed to seal is and all the different steps of seed to seal, you can say this is our seed to seal guarantee on this page here. Basically, without belaboring it, it's a promise that from before the seed goes in the ground until it's in the bottle, there's no chemicals or synthetics that touch our oils or our plant materials, so that you're getting the purest thing that you can when it comes to your door. And then you can turn the page. You cover each little thing. Here's all the farms we own. Turn the page. Here's 3 ways to use your essential oils. Turn the page. Very, very quick. And you can do a whole basic Why Young Living /101 class in about 15 minutes. And if you want kind of an example for this, I've done my own that I recorded, and I can put a link for it if anybody wants it, just so you can kind of see how that looks from when I do it. Now, at the end of your 4 or 5 basic details, though, do you keep carrying on? Do you keep talking? And this is where I want you to think about this. This is where our topic really gets into play. That's where you should ask them what they liked about what they heard, not what did you think. That's too many. That opens to, at that point they're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. They have some questions. They might just need a little bit more information, whatever. Don't ask what they think. Ask what they liked about it. Let's be more specific about it than what did you think. Okay? And then stop talking. I know that sometimes a little bit of silence, especially in our society, it's kind of uncomfortable. We're not used to being quiet. We're not used to not hearing people, chatter on. But this is the time to be quiet, because it gives the person that you're sitting down with and the person that you're talking to an opportunity to ask questions of you. You've given them a 10 or 15-minute little spiel, which in our society sometimes that is kind of long, but because you're face-to-face, you have pictures, they can turn back in your book and say, okay, so you said this about this page, so tell me this detail. If they want more details, they'll ask. And if you think about our personality colors, your greens are going to ask all kinds of questions. They're going to want to see every reference guide that you own, and they're going to go home and research it, and they're going to get all kinds of information going. They're going to want to have all of that. But your reds, your blues, they're not going to want to belabor these points. They're going to ask a few things that are important to them. They're going to tell you what they like, and then you're going to move forward from there. So when you talk about, okay, what did you like about it, and they're going to tell you what they liked about it, and then you're going to hear their questions, your next thing, what did you like about it, and then after that you're going to say something like, okay, so what questions can I answer for you? And again, stop talking. At each step after this, you're going to just stop talking, because you've done your presentation. You've done your 101. You've explained why you use Young Living and only Young Living, and why you have found it to be the most trustworthy company as far as essential oils go. And then you stop talking so that they have time to process and they have time to ask those questions. So what did you like about what you heard, or what you've seen in our product guide here? And then stop talking. And then, okay, so the next question is, you're going to think about what did you form with them? What was their family, their occupation, their recreation? And you're going to come up with a couple of key points that will fit in to, from what they liked to what their goals are in their life. how can what you're offering match up with what they have? And instead of telling them this, you want to ask them more and more questions about themselves and about their lives to draw them out so that they come to see that essential oils and going toxin-free, going chemical-free in their lives can be of benefit to them. You want them to come to that conclusion on their own. And that's where that silence comes in. So, okay, we get past this point. We've listened, we've asked questions. Your job is not to talk about yourself. It's not to give too many details about who you are, your child had allergies too, and this is how you got started. That's not FDA compliant anyway. So, you don't want to go into all of that detail. Now you want to start looking at, here's how you get started, which is, conveniently, at the back of that product guide. So after you've hit that, let them, peruse the 250, 300 different oils and products that we have in the catalog for a minute in the product guide. Then you're going to say, okay, so now you see that our company has these things going for it. I've answered your questions that you had. Now I'm going to show you at the back here, I'm going to show you how to get started so that you are starting on the best path right away. And we're going to flip to the back of the book. And then you're going to stop talking. Brief intro, here's the details that we're looking at, and then you stop talking. And when you stop talking, you're going to slide your sign-up form across to them or your iPad or whatever, and you're going to say, here's how you get going to use, to get started right away. We want to get your oils to you as soon as possible. We want to get you on the best path for health. Stop talking and give them the opportunity to either ask more questions or express some misgivings, which you're going to ask questions about. You're not going to sell it anymore. If they have misgivings, that's okay, because you want to know about those things up front. When they express these doubts, you're not going to try to talk them out of their doubts and tell them that their doubts are wrong. Instead, you're going to ask questions. So, well, this looks like a lot of money. Well, okay, tell me a little bit more about that. What's your concern? And then stop talking. Let them answer. Take notes. It's okay to write down notes. You're not going to, I have an awful memory. If I don't write something down, it's not going to get, I'm going to forget it in like 10 minutes. That's how crazy my memory is. So take notes while they're talking. Just tell them, I'm going to write these things down so that way I can best serve you. And if their concern is the safety factor, okay, safe use, I've read this or I've read that, tell me more about that. Tell me what's on your mind about that. And the more questions that you ask, the more that you're going to be able to really pinpoint what's at the root of their concerns. And then you're going to give them that form or give them that iPad or whatever, and you're going to stop talking and give them the opportunity to fill it out or to ask more questions. This is their turn, because your 101 in your presentation is when you've done your selling. Either they're ready for it at that point, or they're not. And if they're not, they're going to let you know. But if you're still talking, they can't let you know anything. So what happens, let's say, if you stop talking and they stop talking and you're just sitting there in awkward silence? And the theme from Jeopardy is like going through their minds, going through your mind. Okay, so awkward silence doesn't last long because they're awkward and so are you. But that's where that question, what did you like about what you saw, comes into play. Because it puts the ball in their court. So when you're asking questions about them and about their thoughts and about what they're looking for in their journey of life, you're giving them the opportunity to give you the details that you need to better pinpoint the next question. And really, you can do this whole process with a little practice, I won't lie, I'm not always quite as brief as I would like to be, but you can do this whole process in 20 or 30 minutes if, once you've had some practice at it. I think the fastest sign-up I've ever done was probably about a half an hour, and that's me personally, but, if you're enjoying the conversation, that's a whole different thing. But the reality is that a lot of times, think about how often you go and you talk to somebody for an hour or 2 hours, because a lot of us start out that way, and you go give this 2-hour presentation to somebody at Starbucks, and they walk away, and they say, well, I'm going to go do some more research. Thanks for meeting with me today. You've just blown 2 hours of your time that you could be either talking to other people or be with your family or sitting by a lake somewhere and just enjoying the quiet for a moment. Pick it up. So, so that's time that you don't want to. We have a birthday card in our room. That's time that you don't want to. You can't get that 2 hours back. So you want to make sure that you're meeting their needs, but you also want to make sure that you're not wasting either one of your time, yours or theirs. And so that's where that stop talking stuff comes into play. So we are still keeping within our half-hour call times here for these calls. What I'd like to do, what I would like to do is go ahead and open this up so that if you have any questions, you can ask them. We have a couple people on the call with us here. So if you have any questions, you can ask or you can give your thoughts on things. And if you have an experience that you'd like to share as far as, a time that you overtalked or undertalked or you felt awkward or whatever, by all means, jump on and share your experience. That's why it's a round table. And I'll stop talking. So let me open this up for question and answer. And if you want to say something, you can push *6 to unmute yourself. Okay. Now that the Jeopardy theme song has continued on through, what did you like about what you heard? If you have any suggestions on that, I'm certainly open. I know, too, that the last time we had somebody on here, she messaged me later and she said, I was in Target, so I couldn't say anything, but I was listening. So it might be that, too, and that's okay. I'm just glad people are on here with me. I'm not alone. All right. So as to not have too many long silences at the end of this recording, we'll go ahead and we'll stop for now. If you have questions that you want to ask, you can always type them in as well, either on a message to me or on the Builders Roundtable event page for tonight, for February 24th. And as always, because this is pretty much the end of what I had to say tonight, and like I said, we're right about 25 minutes. But this is something I've learned, by the way, from Danny Johnson and her 30-day boot camp. So if you want to see more on this, go to DannyJohnson.com or SmarterNetworker.com, and she has a free 30-day boot camp. And I won't lie, they're long recordings. They're about an hour a day, and she talks really fast and says a whole lot. But she has a lot of good stuff to say. So you can look that up because that's where I got some of this for tonight. I just kind of tried to tailor it to to what we're doing, specifically within Young Living, and to ways that I have begun to apply it to my own business building efforts, and where I'm starting to see some real results from that. And so I wanted to share those results with you all because they have been invaluable for me, and I know that they will help other people as well. So that's where I'm at with that. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me tonight and for the excellent and amazing and super helpful feedback that I've been getting from folks that listen to the recordings later on. And hopefully these are still of use to you, these calls. We will have the recording uploaded before too long tonight on the February 24th event page. And we'll also have the recording uploaded to the Business Builders webpage on Facebook. And we will be back next Wednesday, March 2nd. Do you believe we're already into March? March 2nd at 10 p.m. we'll have our next Builders Roundtable, and I will be working on putting those topics together in the coming days between now and this weekend. So you can watch my page, Essentially Curious About Essential Oils, on Facebook and also on YouTube to get the details on those. So have a great evening, and thank you so much for being here with me tonight. I hope it was helpful to you, and I will see you next Wednesday.